after the
But
game
they
came
didn't
out.
say anything about performance. They just said they specifically did not. There could be because Nintendo.
Well, they
like,
specifically said performance in their little public press release after the game came out.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they said that they value their feedback, and they strive to have best possible product and all that. So there he is.
Yep.
The Pokemon.
He can talk about that shit.
The
'Cause I
man
don't want
himself.
to. Pokemon.
Wow.
He's kind of a crazy man, but he's a man. So any performance patch or anything with Sword and Shield?
Well, I feel like it'd be better just to show you. I feel like that'd be the best way.
Just any chance for him to boot up the game and show us.
Hey, look. I already know how you are. So I don't know if I believe that. Let me see some footage. I need to see some gameplay footage.
They didn't put out a press release or anything?
There is patch notes. There are patch notes. Hold on.
Because I was telling T, they put out a press release not long after the game came out saying they've heard people's feedback. They value people's consumers' feedback and strive to make a better experience.
Did you hear your developers' feedback when they said this shit was not ready? They knew that shit wasn't ready.
Hey man, they needed the money. They wanted the money.
What's up?
Okay. I'm glad you fixed that.
I know.
What's up, Isters? What's up, Lenny? What's up, Ayers, Donnie, and the Genius of Battle, DFG. First time I've seen that.
The Genius
Message
of Battle.
retracted, so don't know. But yeah, I completely didn't know anything about it. I was too busy at work to watch it. I figured I'd just wait until Terrell could do the rundown.
It wasn't, to me, it wasn't
special.
It wasn't exciting for me personally.
What's up, TriLink? No new game for this year announced or anything?
Pokemon Sleep.
I mean, so there's a couple of interesting things. So the sleep thing is just fucking dumb, but it's there.
I thought you were kidding.
No, Pokemon Sleep is a thing.
I thought he meant you put you to sleep.
No, Pokemon Sleep is a thing. It was, to be fair, it was mentioned
it before.
I do remember.
It was mentioned before, but like they literally didn't do anything
with
years
it for
ago. Years. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, we're back with it. And I'm just like, what? All right.
You want this?
And it's literally it's just as kind of gimmicky as I thought it was gonna be, because it comes out, when does it come out? Summer of this year. And
what about Pokemon?
What?
What's the next remaster?
Yeah. They didn't mention a remaster. They did mention the Netflix show. Yeah, Concierge. That's coming on Netflix. That's a claymation style animated series.
Concierge.
We don't get a lot of footage of it, but hey, I appreciate the use of stop motion because it's highly. I feel like
stop motion, or was it like CGI pretending to be stop motion?
Oh God! Listen, I'm not that guy to make that discernation. Now, if you want to make that discernation,
I'm gonna make it because Lego Movie tricked my ass, so I'm gonna guess it's CGI.
Okay, I'm just giving you the option.
Cool?
It showed a tiny little snippet.
It showed a beach, a Psyduck, and a character. Like it wasn't enough to really be like, yeah, this is it. This is happening.
Yeah.
Where's
it looked clean though.
Yeah, it looked like in terms of like what you do see, it does look clean. Where is it? Oh, here it is, game capture.
Think they're working on Detective Pikachu 2 or anything?
I thought they were with that fucking animated Pikachu and the goddamn
pixelated. That's just
that wasn't animated, was it? I thought that was some little.
Looked
animated. Really I don't know why it's like super.
I thought it was,
right
but
now.
then I looked at the shadow it was cast. I'm like, that's not animation. That's real shit. But the eyes blinking looked way too good.
That's why it was fucking with me. I'm be real.
But the rest of it looked like it was like a real object. I don't know, man. It'd be tricking me.
They're being weird about it, and it's pissing me off.
Is this supposed to be smoother? I can't tell.
Looks.
I'm going into the main issues. Actually,
is it as choppy for you as it is for me?
It's looking pretty choppy right now.
It doesn't look
it's
choppy
pausing as you're moving forward. It's kind of.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering, because maybe it's not that for you. Maybe it's just the feed or something.
I'm trying to look to see. The cities were the worst one. This is not the
True
best.
True story. This rain looks about as good as Cyberpunk's rain on PS5.
I'm gonna find that might be a bigger city to show off.
That's the sad shit.
The cities were the worst because the cities is where the frame rate just shot itself. So I'm using.
Well, I saw like a classroom scene where people.
Yeah,
were
the classroom was. That scene was ridiculous.
8 frames per second. Like, it was terrible.
Where are we?
It's not looking smooth on the stream.
Yeah, it looks really choppy in the stream.
It looks. It's going all right. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy of an improvement, though.
Like, I'm getting dizzy. Like, this is making me sick.
That pop-in hasn't changed.
Nah, I didn't think the pop-in was going to change.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
It was funny because people were like, oh, the patch can come out. I was like, dude, I wouldn't expect a performance patch till March or April if you're lucky. And at this point, 20 million sold. They might just say, "Fuck it. What's the point? Everyone's played it already." You know?
We'll put out a new one.
I mean, it has a bunch of bug fixes and stuff in here too.
You should see if you can clip through the ground like you in that spot.
Oh, sure. Hold on.
What's up, Jay Biggs?
We will go to.
Welcome to the Pokemon stream.
I think I'm trying to remember if it was in the canyon area where I can do it because I would hit the. Oh, here we go. It's over here. Essentially, you have to find a cave and see if a mon's clipping through the wall, and then engage in a fight with the mon, which would then reposition you outside of the wall, causing you to fall through the damn world.
I love how you spawn in the exact same looking location with that back.
Oh yeah, the center. Yeah, they always they have Pokemon centers at most locations.
It's just crazy because I was just playing Breath of the Wild last night, and it's so beyond this game visually.
Damn it, that was not a cave. I thought it was a
Star
cave.
Fox for Super NES has better frame rate. You might be right, Matthew.
Ooh, come on now.
GoldenEye N64 maybe it's.
Ooh.
That's a little disrespectful.
From what we're looking at right now, GoldenEye just definitely runs better.
I didn't know GoldenEye ran that poorly until I watched the Digital Foundry video. And I think it was hitting single digits on GoldenEye and the multiplayer.
Was it?
Oh yeah, multiplayer for sure. Yeah.
All right, enough of this. We gotta move on. So nothing great from the presentation. Yeah, Pokemon Sleep right here.
You got fucking. I'm trying to think. Okay, so you got stuff for updates for Unite, which I don't care about. That's Pokemon's League of Legends game. The animated show for Netflix. Sleep. What else?
Was there a new Tears of the Kingdom trailer?
When?
AB James asked. I mean, the last one we saw was from the Direct, and
Direct would have been. You mean the one from
that's the new one.
There's a new Mario movie trailer which I didn't watch. I didn't watch the final trailer.
I'm done.
Wait, the final trailer hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, it has.
No, and it comes out on the 9th.
Oh, it's the announcement of the final trailer. That's right.
Yeah, it was the announcement.
An announcement.
Yeah, the final trailer.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS has better frame rate, says Prince Revolver.
That's probably true.
All right, Oops. Fuck.
Just to see them analyze it.
I tried to cancel your stream, but I can't.
Wait, so what?
I tried to end your stream from being on my screen, and it wouldn't let me. I don't know why.
You should be able to just right click and hit close stream.
Stop watching. There we go. But it still shows. It still takes up a space on the Discord.
Yeah. I'll close it in a second. I just wanted to see because I haven't roamed around. To be honest with you, I cut it on earlier, and I really just did raid battles. That was my concern to see if those ran better, and they run. It's fun. I guess.
Imagine a Netflix original based off of a game being good. It's already happened twice.
Yeah, what you talking about?
Arcane and Castlevania, and I don't think you count The Witcher. It's animated as the game because it was more the. Well, even the live action, but that was more towards the books than the games, even though they didn't follow either too close.
That little side.
What's up, Cray?
Shit. Trash.
Cray, how's your PS5 library looking these days?
Damn. Wait a minute.
Well, it was already looking solid with Kana and God of War Ragnarok, but I don't know if he expanded.
A couple bangers there.
Let's say look at that and compare it to any other game that came to Switch. Nintendo should have not allowed Pokemon to come out.
Oh,
like that.
the one thing
Nintendo look bad.
the one Pokemon related thing that is kind of important, but also correlates to Nintendo owners in general, is the guy there was a guy, and I know Juice is gonna hate it, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. There was a guy on 4chan who literally gave out the information of at least the Scarlet and Violet related stuff right before the direct. But in the end of his thing, he got everything right, but there was one thing he added that obviously wouldn't have been announced during this direct, which is something along the lines of the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. The first one comes out in the fall, and the other one comes out in the winter. The one that comes out in the winter will also include a graphics patch following the new Switch model, is what his thing said. And now people are like, are we getting another Switch model?
He probably, I mean, right before the direct, probably got it legit, and then decided to add on a little something since my theory, anyways. I know I'm right on these. I'm gonna add something so people will take it as real. But you never know.
Because he goes, we're working on a graphics enhancement patch for the new Nintendo Switch models that will be released alongside DLC 2, which, as we know, based off today's announcement, will be at the end of this year.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna feel pretty stupid if they announce a Switch Pro after I just bought the OLED.
I don't think we'll.
They do it every 2 years on the Switch.
So here's the thing: if it is true, I would think we wouldn't hear if it comes out. Let's say like November, like right in time for like Black Friday or some shit. I would imagine we wouldn't start. Should be hearing about it as early as either August or September, right? Or is that too?
Yeah, I'd say.
So
I mean,
we'll see around. We'll see around
the rule. The rule on the Switch is every 2 years. You got the Switch came out in 2017, 2019. You got the red
and the light.
And then the light, right? In 2021. Wait, that's not right.
No, 2022. We got the OLED, right?
Damn it!
It'll be 4 years.
I thought I had a pattern going there, and then
fuck me up! I couldn't do it.
Metroid Prime could drop this holiday. I wouldn't be shocked.
The light was 20. Oh fuck it! I give up.
Also, AB James, we talked about Tears of the Kingdom in the direct, our Nintendo Direct podcast after the direct, the first podcast after. We didn't go like in depth into the trailer, but we talked a lot about the game. I
figured we were going to touch on the state of play, right?
I
want to touch Cammy, that's for sure.
Good God. Good.
They are just nailing the character designs.
Relax, bro. That fucking stretch he does in the middle of the trailer, and I'm like, yo, wait a minute.
They're just, I mean, even Zangief look fucking phenomenal. I can't wait. That game comes out in May. I thought Resident Evil 4 was May, but it's freaking March. It's only like 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Damn, I actually have a backlog now. Like, I never had a backlog.
Too bad it's $70.
No, it ain't. Wait, 60. RE4 is 60 on all versions.
No, not RE4. I'm talking about
Street Fighter?
Street Fighter.
That's gonna be 70.
Wait, that's 70?
I'm guessing it's gonna be 70.
Capcom hasn't charged 70 for anything yet.
Wait.
Times are a change.
I'm gonna go look. I'm looking
what if
right now.
What if it has like a huge roster and completely feature packed?
Fighting games will always be the hardest to sell.
It would 70.
Be. Let me see if I wanted to pre-order.
What if it had these nuts? I don't care about that shit. You got not charging us.
I mean, if they didn't do it for Resident Evil 4 remake,
Smash have when you first.
Let's try the PS4 version because I forgot there is a PS4 version.
Nintendo would charge $70 for that shit too now. Probably
Amazon. It is it's 60. Well, the PS4 version.
PS5 version is PS4 the deluxe edition is $84.99.
Yeah,
$59.99 PS5.
Okay.
$59.99 Series X.
Yeah.
I don't think that was coming to PS4. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either.
I don't think it's coming to Xbox One though, is it?
No. It only says Xbox Series X and S.
Because you can't run on that shit.
And then it says Steam. That's it.
They don't want to do no 720p shit.
What the hell even? What comes with the extra versions anyway? 4 additional characters. Oh, the year 1
free
pass.
in-game bonus outfits.
Yeah,
I was hoping for a
this
steelbook because I don't like the cover.
I don't see.
I'm afraid to watch the Cammy reveal trailer on the stream and get flagged for no reason. Not that it matters.
What do you mean?
Does Capcom be hitting?
Does Capcom
just trailer? I mean, the last time I did showed trailers.
Capcom,
yeah, but I'm saying Capcom specifically.
Sandstorm's doing a live reaction to the Pokemon Direct instead of the podcast. Come on, man.
He probably couldn't watch until he got home.
It's just Pokemon. It's nothing
Pokemon.
serious here.
I feel bad because I feel bad because some Pokemon Directs got a lot of good shit. This one was not one of those.
This one is not one of those.
Right,
so I was disappointed.
I'm sharing this for anybody that doesn't follow or doesn't watch.
What?
Like State of Plays or anything. I was like,
gonna get shut down.
I got the music off. It's like how are they so consistently getting these character designs look so right? Like there's not one I've seen
because they've been designing these characters for the longest.
They're able to mesh it with like these kind of comic book splash screens, you know, for the special moves. That's the most fascinating thing. Like this shit, like that looks amazing.
But to me, that's
the backgrounds almost look real life, but then the characters.
I just want to put this in context. They were doing that they were doing that back in.
But look at his.
They've been doing it.
Even his quads are jiggling when he.
I think they've just gotten better at it.
Yeah.
Like when he moves, like his quads are like you can see the muscles and stuff. Like
the detail is insane.
It's just crazy.
This was literally the best part of the State of Play. Was all the Capcom.
I didn't watch the RE4 stuff. I'm just ready
really
for the
RE4 stuff looks absolutely.
You think
amazing.
the Justice League stuff was amazing?
Suicides. What do you mean? The Avengers 2.
Oh yes, my girl.
What do you think of this girl?
Oh yeah, Lucy.
Hey, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, Lucy. Is it Lucy?
What do you think of those size?
Hey, well, I mean, it's not thick, but I'm fine with that. It's not all.
Well, for her size, they are.
Not all girls need to be thick. Besides, Chun-Li's in this game.
For her height, they're pretty thick.
I'm gonna hold off until I find out how old she is.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Look at Blanca.
Because you know how they be doing. Oh, she's 14. Oh, god dang.
It's a fictional character.
Well, listen.
You ain't trying to put me in jail. Huh?
I'm just gonna say right now, I didn't know beforehand. Just to give context.
Put some damn pants on her then.
No, she's wearing shorts. Fuck it. She's covered.
All right. You got shorts on.
That looks so good. I imagine she probably is kind of young though.
I'm just thinking she's young.
Yeah, though you're not. I would agree. She probably is young. The whole like childlike where she kind of fucks up her special move but still lands on.
Right.
Man, Cammy, you have no business. You had no business doing the. Ma'am.
This don't make no sense, bro.
Man, what? Wait for it. Hold on, wait for it.
You think she's got the old school outfit?
I don't give a fuck.
Where's the stretch right there? That one?
Damn!
And then the little pop with it, you know what you can?
God damn!
I can't wait to see the cosplay.
Oh my
I got my
goodness.
drink. Hey man, the art is already on Twitter, dog. It's been great.
How do these do this so quick? Well,
Because hey man, all you need is about.
Who's that she's attacking? I don't recognize.
That's true.
Oh, that's one of the new characters.
Oh, okay.
One of the new characters. He was like introducing like the first.
Look at that.
I wish I could draw.
First couple trailers. Why they make you look like this, man? God.
That should have been the cover
Lord.
of the game.
Damn.
Or maybe it's gonna be a special cover. Yeah.
I've had enough of these women, dog. I've already seen Jury. I've seen Chun-Li. My heart
That's
hurts.
the cover right there.
Mm-hmm. Move a little.
God damn.
You need to go a few frames back.
Double cheeked up. Double cheeked up.
Oh my Lord.
Damn. Fuck
Trying
me
to
all
time
the
it
way.
just
There
right.
you go.
Yep. For the audience to see.
Caked up and caked out. Good God.
Thirst trap.
Good God. Jesus Christ.
Good stuff, man. I haven't owned a Street Fighter game since Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super NES.
I think I've bought the last 3 in varying degrees. I bought 4 and returned it. Bought 5 and I have it on Steam still. And I'm debating on whether or not this will be a day one. It's hard because I'm not good at Street Fighter. That's the problem.
What? Everybody's good at Street Fighter.
No. Who the fuck told you that?
Wow.
Yeah, maybe people from your generation, everyone from your generation. Well,
that was our fighting game.
Same thing. Lenny said the only thing he's not liking is the cover. That's basically the only misfire that I've seen.
Yeah, I would agree. But that's fine. But I mean, hey man.
So that comes out the same month as Tears of the Kingdom. So.
No, it comes out June.
Oh, I thought it was May.
No, it comes out June.
Either way,
so I mean, you can't play it.
The only downside is it's hard to get the fellas together for game nights. You know, we do 1 week and then we're like, oh, we're gonna do it next week, and then nobody replied. So that's gonna be one of those games that's most fun playing.
Don't talk shit about us. We're in the room. Dan got it.
Oh, no.
So that's gonna be one that for me.
I got a legitimate excuse.
Yeah,
it's hard for me.
That's just saying. It's hard for everybody to get together. Fighting games are not. For me,
everybody else ain't got my excuse.
because
I got 2 gigs and a family to deal with.
He's out here working.
I'm working.
And working.
But yeah, I still really want to get it. We'll see. What else?
My question is this though, T. Were any of those VR 2 games they showed off in that state of play last week?
Man, I've heard that. I've heard nothing but good things about the VR 2.
I want to know. I'm just curious.
The VR 2 itself is awesome. But them games they doing. Only thing that looks great is obviously Horizon Call.
I'd say Gran Turismo would probably be awesome in the cockpit view. I mean,
but you ain't. That's not a VR. It's cool to dip into that once in a while, but you ain't gonna play the game like that. It's just, at least from my experience, it's hard to play a racing game like.
It'd be cool if you had like resistance in a steering wheel, and then you could look around. But yeah, I've heard the screen's pretty amazing with the OLEDs and
it better be that shit
the controllers. People are liking the controllers. What is it? 5 or 6?
It's like 5 something, 550, right?
550, yeah.
It's a lot.
And then with taxes, that bitch is gonna be like 580.
On top of that, you already had to have a PS5 with that, so I'm like,
yeah, I doubt they're expecting somebody
definitely starting from scratch.
Yeah, to buy them both at the same time. But if you have one, then it's not. Man, if you just have a PS5 anyway, it's not. It's pretty reasonable price compared to the competition. As far as like the HTC Vive back in the day was like what, $900, and you had to have a killer PC.
It's weird for me to hear people talk about the price when all these fucking VR headsets are like $700, $800, $900 to fucking.
For what they're offering with the controllers, it seems like pretty decent.
You can put that bitch on any PC you want. Well, obviously you have to be powerful enough. But that's the difference. It's a lock to a PlayStation 5. And until a bitch starts hacking that shit, I mean, somebody's going to hack that bitch to where you can use it on a PC eventually.
Yeah.
Even if Sony doesn't do it. So when that happens, I'll dive. But
I like some of what I've seen of the Horizon game, but then the combat looks pretty simplistic. Like you just kind of strafe, dodge left, right.
To me.
Well, yeah, it's a VR game.
It's a VR game. You can't look.
There is good combat in VR games. I have this one game.
No, but you can't look that good and then have like this.
Well, what they could have done instead of making a combat game, make it where you had to sneak past them or do research on them. Maybe you had to have some. You get a device where you can like scan them like Aloy, and you're just got instead of trying to force combat in there, because to me that looks really lame. The climbing looks cool, but. Like you sneak around and just like when the tall neck walked over them when they're in like the canoe in the opening, I can't even imagine what that looks like in VR. It looked awesome just watching the 2D version from somebody playing it. I'm like, man, that would be so badass to actually experience and feel like you're in that environment. So I'm not going to get it anytime soon, but it has interested me more than the last one.
Well, and that's my problem. I got fucking 40 VR games from the last one, and none of them bitches can come over. Like
that's kind of ridiculous.
Are there VR games on the PlayStation that require the move, or is every game can be played with the controller?
No, there's multiple that require the move.
I would say
no, that's not true.
I would say if it works with a controller, it should work with those because they have the analog sticks, and I don't know if they have all the buttons, but
right, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the controller ones, the ones like my favorite. Well, actually, Moss is on PS5, PSVR 2. But you have to rebuy the games.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, do you?
I'm pretty. Oh, maybe no. That's wrong. That is wrong. You can. There's some kind of upgrade path for it, and I'm like, why don't they do that for every fucking thing?
There's probably. I mean,
I know some games it ain't gonna work.
I think
some
it's gonna depend on the developer.
I bet there must be. They must have had to say do something different from the previous one to. I don't know if it's the controls or what, but see, if it was an easy process, you feel like they would all just do it.
Because Moss, you're holding the controller and you have the headset to look. That's it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you need, you don't need like any intricate like move control or not. What are they called? Sense controllers?
I'm not sure.
You don't really need those. For most of the games that I played, I'm like, especially like the Astrobot game, I'm sure it's not already on there. What was it called? Astrobot. Why can I never remember that game?
I think it was just Astrobot.
I can't remember because of the new one.
Well, right, I always hear Astro Playroom. That's what I was thinking.
I think it's just Astrobot, the original.
It's got to be something else. It's not.
I keep forgetting that game has two games.
But anyway, like that's a perfect game to easily bring over because it just uses the controller. Mm-hmm. And, like I said,
Half-Life Alyx would be awesome.
Games. Half-Life Alyx would be great on there. Yeah. So.
Other than that, I mean, it was kind of a.
What you think of Suicide Squad?
That looks terrible. Not even just in general, the game looked terrible. Not visually. I mean, just gameplay wise, just the dialogue. Like I hate everything about what I saw. I was like,
I hate that they tied it into the Arkham series. They're like, oh, this takes place.
Why did they do that? That's stupid.
Like, bro,
why did you not fit Arkham at all?
No. Why did they make it 4-player co-op? Like, didn't we learn from Avengers?
Did we learn from Gotham Knights? The fuck?
But here's the problem: is this game takes fucking 7 years to make, and so it was already in the process before they realized people are already tired of that shit. So it's too late.
Hopefully, the combat isn't as generic and basic as Avengers.
It looks like it is.
It looks pretty basic and generic.
Jesus, that's gonna be another.
My problem is my main problem is everybody looks like they would feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have all these different characters that are very different. But yet they're fucking floating around like Spider-Man and doing all this shit. Like Harley Quinn's flipping and diving all over the place. She has like a whip. Basically, she has an endless like
web swing.
Yeah, and it's web swing. That's what it is. A grapple, and you got.
You know what it reminded me of?
Boomerang. Not even really using his boomerangs. He's just using a fucking sniper rifle. I'm like, what is this shit?
Someone said it in my chat when I live reacted to it, and they were like. It feels like Fortnite, and I was like,
kind of did.
I could see it too.
It looked like Fortnite a lot of times because all fucking crazy neon colors and all that shit.
And I'm like, it's fucking DC. Like you're talking about DC heroes.
And this is Rock's. You know, it's funny. That
what makes me mad. It's actually them. It's them. It's not like a secondary studio or some shit.
This has been the guys who was the one that made Arkham Origins.
That's the same guys that made Gotham Knights.
Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Or Gotham Knights, right? It was not that team. I would be like, all right, that's.
Yeah, if it's that team.
You want to know something crazy, T?
Rocksteady?
T. Rocksteady, why did y'all put your hands on
I don't remember the year. It was after the Switch came out, obviously. Miyu and Red Knight were doing an E3 predictions on his Active Gamer Life podcast. And he was predicting Rocksteady's new game back then. And he was like, well, I loved all their other games, so there's no reason not to think their next game's going to be awesome, and I think they're going to show it. That had been 2018, probably.
I remember that conversation, yeah.
And, I mean, the game still isn't out. Like, he was confident that was going to get shown. And it's like,
I feel bad because...
Well, how about the fact, or I thought you were pointing out the fact that I'm just going to like it, because...
Oh, no.
You going to like this? I don't know if you're going to like that, bro.
Yeah, I feel bad because I'm like, bro, if y'all had just y'all could have went with another DC IP. You didn't even have to fucking do Batman. Like, why do Suicide?
There's so many goddamn DC characters. Why are we
Suicide Squad? I mean, you didn't have to have
that. I mean,
Batman.
they're different.
And it's different, but like the premise of it is
the Justice League.
Kill the Justice League, and then I'm looking over like, oh, this is
that was an Elseworlds comic, so you got to do
No, I get it. just wish
it's not a bad idea for a game.
I wish it was a single player game.
The execution.
That's what I really wish.
That's the problem.
It should be a gritty, fucked up, dark fucking game. You know, like
that's the whole premise.
Colorful, neon, fucking cyberpunk shit.
But T, you know the worst part, don't you? Well, this is Kevin Conroy's last.
Don't remind me.
And I was like, no, bro. What
Didn't somebody?
Fuck?
I saw a tweet or something. Someone saying he didn't like having to do the Arkham games. I don't know if that was true or not.
I doubt it.
I don't know why. The first game anyway is a good story.
He did literally 3 main games. The only game he didn't do was Origin. That was because technically he's supposed to be younger in that one. But
yeah,
and that's the one where Troy Baker did the Joker because Mark Hamill did.
I will say I don't mind that performance. It's I know it's not. I know people aren't the biggest fan of Troy Baker because he was literally in every.
Troy Baker
thing.
did the Joker in what?
Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origins.
Oh yeah.
He's people kind of got burnt out on him because you kept seeing him everywhere.
A good game. It wasn't as good as the other.
Yeah, I enjoy. You know what the problem was?
I still had fun with it.
It was just buggy. That was like the biggest issue.
It did have some stability issues and shit.
That was like the main issue. But yeah, I'm mad that that's Kevin's like last
that's a
vocal
shame.
role. I'm like, bro, I would have rather you done like a DC animated movie or something. Like, fuck.
And it doesn't even really exist because it's always online.
That pissed me off. That's insane to me. I'm like, the game already doesn't look.
Player. Even a single
player. Bro, the game already doesn't seem that exciting to me to begin with. And then you're gonna tell me right after, oh, by the way, it's an only online game. I'm like, no.
I'm annoyed with that when it comes to Redfall.
Hopefully Microsoft.
It's like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Hopefully Xbox pays some money to get that on Game Pass. That's the only way it has a chance of getting played, probably. Like,
I would agree. Because I don't
sucks
think
for them to have to spend money.
I would think they wouldn't spend that money. They'd be like, nah, we ain't gonna do that.
I'm just, but I hate that it took up 15 minutes. They were like,
I watched the first.
What else were they gonna do? There's nothing else really to show.
Okay, so here's my thing, and I know Juice mentioned this. I think Juice, you mentioned this before. How State of Plays you is more for third parties.
Yeah, they rarely have. I mean, they'll have a Horizon or God of War trailer at the end.
I thought we at least get one major.
I don't think they announced I don't know. I don't have the best memory for this stuff. I don't feel like they make major announcements in State of Plays, but maybe for first party games,
I'm just saying.
Could be wrong.
I'm just saying because like the showcase to me was always the way they described their E3s. So I always viewed the showcase as an E3. They've
done showcases around E3, but they never called it an E3 showcase. It's just
the reason why I say that is because and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always seen them like once a year. Like
I do have a showcase coming in May.
See that's that.
They were supposed to do it. They were supposed to do it last year, but what happened last year? They kept pushing it because this is the talk I've heard. They kept pushing it because the developers weren't ready with the games they wanted to show. So they pushed it out to May.
Because realistically,
yeah. I
know I made jokes about Xbox, but like, what we got on Sony's side these next couple.
Suicide Squad killed my excitement.
That's good. Good one, Lenny.
That's a good one.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Damn.
And Donnie, you're right. Yeah, Troy Baker's gonna be on the next episode of The Last of Us. The
he's
show.
Gonna be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in. But yeah, he
voiced Joel.
Oh, how pretentious!
I don't know if it's his first live action acting credit or not.
I think Troy's done.
He's done some other stuff.
He seems like a pretty good dude, but
he's cool. Yeah,
just like all actors, they like to mention their accomplishments when they're talking about anything, and how amazing or impactful it was, like doing stuff. But anyway, it's just what it is. Other than that, God. Oh, I was gonna give. If Samstorm was gonna be here. I was gonna say that I started the final mission in Cyberpunk, and I really like Keanu in that game. You could tell he's not giving it like his 100% effort, but he still has enough charisma in his character and his line delivery that makes him one of the highlights of the game. And there's a couple moments where I was like, yeah, that he definitely was putting in some emotion and a little bit of emotion. He wasn't like, you could tell he was trying a little harder in other lines or other story dialogue, voice acting, I guess, versus some of the other ones. It's like, yeah, he's just what do you call it? Where you're just right. We're just saying, fuck it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm getting paid. What's the phrase I'm looking for?
Yeah.
I lost. I was on the tip of my tongue. Now it's completely gone.
I know what it is, but I just
something something in.
Homing.
Not homing.
Honing in.
No, something it in. He's phoning it in.
Phoning it in.
Yeah. Anyway.
It was so simple.
It was. But I can't be. I was wondering what Sandstorm thought, because I really don't care about the overall story. I don't care about the main character whatsoever. Especially the female voice actor. She's terrible. Like, absolutely no emotion. It's not as bad as like Zelda in Breath of the Wild, but it's not great. But I've enjoyed my time with the game. I think I'm gonna be at about probably like 38 hours when I'm done with it, and it is what it is. I did a live stream yesterday. I didn't really get to my points because I was playing. I kept getting distracted, but the game could have been something really special, like with the city they created.
Well, yeah, that's literally the problem.
We thought it was going to be something
with the tech, the world they created with, the augmentations. None of that's important. Other than the first one, they force you to do in a mission. I didn't do one augmentation. I never added anything to my character till like recently. I added like one mod that improved something. I don't even remember. It's like, it's such a afterthought, and maybe if you really dove into it, there's something to get out of it. But I mean, literally, I've never done melee. I've never really hacked anything other than just deactivate some cameras, because I kept trial and error. I kept getting spotted, and it's just like it's all superficial. Almost everything you can do, all the mechanics of the game, the systems in the game are all to me, feel very superficial. If they could have just tried to do less things and focused on a couple and really nailed it, I mean, it could have been pretty awesome. But other than that, at this point, the one thing I was going to talk about, really my main motivation was just to hook up with Judy, the character in the game, and I didn't want to finish the main story until I knew that side storyline played out. So what happens is you get in a relationship, and I'm like, all right, is there going to be some follow-up missions and stuff now, or am I going to run into her or go back to the apartment? And literally, you go to her apartment, she's sitting at the window, and as soon as you get close enough, hey, I was just thinking about you, and before you ask, you weren't wearing any clothes. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And then V's reaction, she's like, oh, nothing much. Yeah, but enough about me. How are you doing? And I'm like, wait, what? That had to have been a glitch. So then I got out. I called, because you can call any character. And she goes, oh, I was just thinking about you, V. And before you say anything, you didn't have any clothes on. And then she goes, yeah, no, not much. But enough about me. How's your day going? Or so. I want to hear more about you. I'm like, that wasn't a glitch. Like, that's actually the reply they chose. It makes no sense. It's like completely out of context. It's so stupid. And that's all you get every time. It's the same exact thing. There's no additional dialogue tree or anything after you did, like, I did all the side missions and answered all the questions correctly, and to get the romance, even though I didn't even look it up. And then you just get nothing. There's literally no reward out of it. It's just like going to an NPC in a Zelda game and they tell you the same thing every time, or any game really. They just say the same thing over and over. The same dialogue from like the first time you talk to her. You have the same options. It's like, I mean, of all the there's a lot of little things like that.
Like walking into town in Zelda 2. It's like walking into town in Zelda 2 Adventure Link.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, did I talk to this character yet?
I am error.
Yeah, we definitely had a little. There's a little scene there between V and Judy. I guess that's the reward. But after that, I thought, they had to add something to the conversations afterwards. Nope. So this just
not a goddamn thing.
It's one of those games where I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna take it out of the PS5, put it in its steelbook, and don't think I'll ever put it in the PS5 or PS6 ever again. You know, it's
kind of like this movie.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't buy
it. I did.
It doesn't get any better. I tried a second viewing and I couldn't even make. Remember Robert? I think.
Come on, what's the film? Fuck no.
Robert's like, Juice. I really think this is going to be one of your favorite Spider-Man movies. I swear it's going to be your second favorite. I'm like,
I was so hyped. I thought for sure.
Now we'll see how the Flash pans out.
I'm not.
Yeah, hopefully the Flash does what I expected this movie to do.
The idea of the Flash was first. They announced the idea of No Way Home only exists because of the Flash.
I hate all of y'all. Wait, what?
He said he's angry with us.
I'm just saying, bro. No Way Home was a good film.
Yeah, No Way Home does, like, Kevin Feige, he's a shrewd businessman. He's a dick. Like, anytime, like, DC would start talking about trying to do something, he would always beat him to it and shit. Like, you can't knock that hustle,
There's not one aspect that I would consider, I'd use the phrase a good film of that movie. There's
just stop.
Technical, writing.
I'm done with y'all.
Superman.
Maybe some of the special effects were
I'm
better
done with
than
y'all.
others.
That bums me out. Nothing.
Hey, man.
That's crazy.
Doesn't have a villain, does it?
I went in.
That's crazy.
Spider-Man's the villain. Peter Parker's the villain of that movie, and not intentionally.
Yeah, I was so annoyed with him. I couldn't recover. I could not.
Especially
recover.
like when he's casting the spell, even though it was in the trailer, it still didn't.
I was annoyed with him and dumbass Doctor Strange's dumbass. Like, what are you doing? Nobody's doing anything that makes any sense from the characters I know.
Also, his friends could go to frickin' MIT or wherever they were going. I forget where they're going. Was it MIT?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was MIT.
Yeah.
Also, his two friends could go to college. It's like, so you're gonna cast this dangerous spell. Like, anyway, I hate. I'm not one to nitpick like to that level.
I
hate you both.
I'm not a nitpicker.
And I would have been fine.
That was just.
I would have been fine with that if there was like a really compelling villain. There was like something that was meaningful after that. It's like, no, we got the Green Goblin.
I'm with you.
But no, we're not gonna make him a villain. We're gonna have him be bad, but not make him like a really good villain with any kind of payoff at the end.
I mean, I let bullshit slide.
What happened? He stopped somebody from killing somebody, and then what? He just goes back to his time, and we don't know. Did he die? Did he not die? Like, did anything?
It's right. Well, yeah, the ambiguousness of them going back to their time. It's essentially supposed to be around the time where they're about
right
to
before
die.
They died. So he's gonna
right before they die. Yeah, right before.
What's gonna stop him from having his glider go through his, which probably wouldn't even killed him. That's go through like his lower stomach area. Somebody said something earlier.
If this was right before they, the movies they were in or whatever.
I feel like the majority of people think it's a good movie, so I'm not.
Yes, that's why I'm fucking Jesus, man.
I think. Well, here's the thing though, and I see Phenom Soul is first.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think there was just some. For me, what's what I'm looking for?
Well, here's the thing that I've picked up now in the home theater community. When a new movie comes out on Blu-ray or 4K, there's a lot of people saying how the picture quality is, how the sound quality is, and what I noticed, and not a lot of people worried about the movie in the home theater community. They're more about is it a good demo disc? But I seen quite a few people saying the second time they saw the movie, it wasn't as good as they thought it was in the first time. I even see people say they felt like they were caught up in the hype at the theater. And this was out of nowhere. This wasn't me trying to find negative. This wasn't talking to anybody. I was just reading comments on like Blu-ray.com review of the movie, and in the forum it was just a lot of like, man, this movie wasn't as good the second time without the crowd, without the hype at the theater. So that's just
if you're not sitting there with the member berries, like, would that movie really be that great? But that's not fair either, because that's part of it.
That's part of the experience.
But I think
that
holds
doesn't
it up
hold
too
up
much.
And that doesn't last over the time. I
think those things shouldn't be load bearing things for your movie. Like those should be pillars of the movie. Like that should be like a back thing, a side thing to support the plot.
Yeah.
No, I get.
It can't be the crutch. It can't be just like nostalgia for like I don't know, like a classic IP or something come back. You can't just have the nostalgia.
I don't think they handled nostalgia poorly. If I would say that.
And again, beyond the nostalgia, people who I know should know better doing really stupid things, especially Doctor Strange. Bitch, you just sat through 10 million different scenarios to beat Thanos, like all that kind of precision, but you're making these really stupid decisions with your magic.
And like I said, I could have forgave that if the rest of the movie for me like worked. But anyway, let's get off this topic.
Yeah, he's already literally for the entire
fuck. I was gonna play a Breath of the Wild game, but I need at least 2 other people.
It's funny that you said it because I was thinking of a game that
it was gonna be like the
I could basically copy what's that podcast, the Xbox IGN podcast. They do a game. They do like a what do you call it?
It's not trivia.
It's like a trivia game they do, and I can't remember the name of it. And it's really cool. And I'm like, I should come up with that because I'll probably know like me and Clock will probably know like half that shit already off the top of our heads. So we shouldn't be the ones. And we should be the ones, giving out the points or whatever.
Last thing on Spider-Man, Donnie nailed it. The end of that movie is what I wanted from the first Spider-Man movie back. What was it? Homecoming. It finally looked like it was going to be the Spider-Man movies I would like them to be after 3 freaking movies. That was the only good part for me was the end. Was like, this might be a good Spider-Man moving forward.
No. Now listen,
on his own, and he's not crutched to Iron Man.
No Iron Man.
No. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
No nanobots.
110%. That the most exciting thing is at the end, it feels like it's the Peter Parker that like Raimi's that he started as. He started as that struggling kid.
They kind of did that with Man of Steel too. At the end, he's that was the Flash. This is the.
Don't bring up Man of Steel, man.
Yeah, because I have
Terrell still don't like it.
It's too painful.
No, it's not. To me, it's not a Superman. It's not Superman. That's me personally.
He's literally not Superman until the end of that movie.
Yeah,
so
I don't really view him. I'm saying,
and he's not. He doesn't become Clark Kent at the Daily Planet until the end of the movie. So you could that could be a negative for sure. Just like with No Way Home.
Well, I view it as a negative more so because it's not like to me that's not Superman, like the personality or like the mentality. I know what direction they were going for that film. If I accept that that's the direction they're going for, but like
it's someone who was the fear of believing that wholesome goody Superman doesn't work anymore. I think
I'm not disrespectful to the character.
I disagree. I think it still could work.
Exactly.
I think Superman Returns put a whole kibosh on the idea that Superman can't work today.
I think Man of Steel's gotten better over time. Over the
Man
years I've watched it. It
has one fatal flaw, and that's Jonathan Kent. Everything else, I love.
I'm over that now, but yeah, it makes no sense because
I can't get over it.
It should have been something.
I can't get over a 30-year-old Henry Cavill trying to act like he's 17. You're not my dad. No, it has a full 5 o'clock shadow and shit.
Hey Smith, we already talked about the Pokemon Direct in the beginning.
Oh man.
Yeah, we did.
Not in full detail, but
but it's not a whole lot to talk about.
There's not a lot of full detail to go over and be real with you.
And to hear what Zack Snyder's plan was, and I don't know if it's true. You never know what to believe, but apparently Netflix is in talks to buy the Zack Snyderverse DC and make the movie. I don't know if that's true. It seems
that wouldn't happen.
But then it's like at that point is Henry Cavill gonna
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Is Lawrence Fishburne gonna play Perry White?
Will Henry Cavill come back and be on a Netflix no, he just told him to piss off with The Witcher. There's no way he's coming back to play Superman for Netflix.
After Zack, I don't know how him and Zack Snyder got along either. So.
Him and Zack Snyder seemed like they were really cool. From what I've seen.
The plan was, first off, the Justice League was supposed to be 2 movies. It wasn't supposed to be. Well, then it was cut to 1, and then it was cut from 3 hours down to 2 hours, and that's when he bounced. So it was going to be Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, which was also kind of forced on him.
That should.
They were going to do Man of Steel 2, and then Warner Brothers.
That's what should have happened.
Wanted Batman in there to help try to make it more successful. So then,
forgetting how Batman Begins performed in the box office,
Superman was going to die. And then he was going to get resurrected at the end of Justice League Part 2, come back, and then in the that was Justice League.
Zack Snyder, that's a mistake, Zack Snyder. You can't fucking kill Superman off in his second movie back. You can't do that. You just, and especially that whole Doomsday arc that takes some build up. You can't.
But it's still.
You should have let him have standalone movies. Getting his bearings.
Again, they had to get to the Justice League.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
But here was his plan, just to get this out.
Yeah, get it out. Sorry.
So he was going to die, and then in Justice League, it was going to come back. And it was going to be 2 parts for the first Justice League. Then Justice League 2, Darkseid was going to use the Omega, what is it called? To control Superman.
Oh no, the Omega Fetter. I forget what you call it.
So now Superman's the main villain of Justice League 2. Batman had to sacrifice himself because they kept talking about how in the Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Joker was talking about, well, what are you going to sacrifice? You're willing to sacrifice people. Batman finally sacrifices himself. Then Superman comes back and becomes the actual Superman he was always meant to be. It was a big arc that they had planned, and he explained it way better than I just did. So,
and the thing is, you could get to that. Like, I'm saying that's a bad idea, but the movies have to be super strong leading up to that.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not excited. That's why even the Flash movie to me feels like it's like the third or fourth Flash film, and I'm like,
I do feel like the Flash movie is going to be good. I just
don't like that it's fucking.
I hate that it's basically Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first movie. It's Flashpoint. Like, what the fuck?
I'm so tired. Yeah. My problem with this is that ever since Flashpoint was introduced, every time they adapt Flashpoint. But I'm like, this man had whole other arcs in sagas. Yeah. I get that Flashpoint is the most popular. I'm 100% fine with that. But don't have that be a starting point. And even in the CW show, he's traveling back in time by like the end of the first season. What? Huh? Fucking progression.
And I disagree with
At least that was 26 episodes.
I mean, yeah, but still, I still think I didn't want to see it in the first season. Like, damn. And
Lenny,
off the deep
Lenny brings up a common complaint is like, oh, they're trying to get to the Avengers before they earned it. But Zack Snyder, obviously the Warner Brothers wanted to, but his plan was to do the Justice League, introduce the characters, and then you get Aquaman, you get Wonder Woman, you get Flash, and then they can flesh out I think that works. It's not ideal, but I think that would have worked if they had done it and the Flash movie had come out, and then you do the second part of the Justice League.
That sounds good, but here's the problem: how are you going to do Justice League without introducing these characters who haven't had movies before? Yeah, Batman's had movies before, Superman has had movies before, but Flash hadn't had a movie before. Wonder Woman hadn't.
Well, Wonder Woman's was supposed to be before.
Cyborg hadn't had a movie. I don't even know if they're going to add Green Arrow to the
Lantern.
Mix. Green Lantern, and then also Martian Manhunter. So all these characters didn't have movies before. So that doesn't work. It doesn't work because of that. Because you can't introduce these characters and then say, oh, here's their origin tale. No, that you can't do that.
I think in some instances I would disagree with that because the chances of
the Trinity, you can do that with the Trinity.
But the chances of people just going to see a Cyborg movie, unless they just had really good marketing and stuff.
Here's my thing.
I think you got to introduce a smaller tier character.
Excuse me. Let me put this out there real quick. excuse me, people were saying the same thing about fucking Captain America. Like, who the fuck want to go see a Captain America movie? Like, Captain America was elevated because of his standalone movies, because of the character in the movies.
But then they would have to have created a environment.
They don't have any confidence.
Where people were gonna go see a movie knowing that it was gonna tie into another movie. Like, that's the only reason people are went a lot of the MCU movies do so well. Is like, oh, I got to watch this one to lead up to the next one.
Starting out,
hell, even Iron Man is that wasn't a first tier kind of character.
No, it wasn't at all.
It's just that your boy played him so well, and he made him so popular to people who didn't care about comics. So
absolutely,
you can, if you have enough fucking confidence in your characters, you can make an obscure character a good movie and then elevate it. And that's what Marvel did.
I don't think it's a problem to have.
Who cared about Doper?
I want to put it in context. I don't have a problem with like one or two characters being introduced during the Justice League movie. But in that situation, it would have been like 4 fucking characters you had never like seen on the big screen before in their first movie. Yeah. Like, okay, fine.
Prince Revolver, great point. He points out, oh, you introduced fucking chiseled, grizzled ass Batman, and you didn't get to see him grow into that. Like even if you didn't get to see that, you got to have the movies ready to explain why he's like that.
I would have loved to see Ben Affleck. The next
movie should have been Ben Affleck's Batman, and you understand what happened to Jason Todd and all that shit. They should have been able to do that, but they were in such disarray. Like, I don't know. It probably could have worked the way you're saying, Drew. The problem is they didn't have any goddamn plan. They just were throwing shit out there. Remember that whole timeline of, oh, here are the movies that are coming. Cyborg was on there. Get the fuck out of here.
Because honestly, after Zack Snyder's Justice League, I would love to have seen a Cyborg movie.
Oh yeah.
Before though, I mean, you never know. It's all. Well,
here's the thing: Zack Snyder's Justice League gave you fucking Cyborg's origin tale right there in the movie. So he didn't really need his own. You wouldn't need his own standalone movie after that.
You wouldn't need an origin, but you could have done something after that.
But what is he gonna? Who's he gonna fight?
I don't know.
Rhino Man.
To me, here's my problem. The way I grew up with Cyborg, it was him part of the Teen Titans. That's how I was.
He was Teen Titan, right?
Like, to me, if you did Cyborg, you should be doing Teen Titans, or at least.
Yeah, but he ain't no teen.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. That's the problem. I don't know what. I don't even know what iteration of Batman is. Are we in the Tim Drake era of Robins? Are we in Nightwing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Are we Jason Todd? Are we fucking Damian Wayne? We were Jason Todd.
Yeah, we were. Jason Todd had been killed in this version. He was dead because they showed his little kind of memorial in the Batcave and shit.
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, I killed your family, or you killed my family," something like that.
Yeah,
and Joker had scribbled "ha ha ha" all over it and shit. So Jason Todd was killed. Like, that's a huge story arc. You can't just gloss over that and just say,
that's never been properly adapted anyway. Actually, a lot of the Robin stories have never been properly adapted.
The animated movies are great for that shit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Animated films are
Welcome to the movie podcast, Sandstorm. Welcome to the DC.
We're going deep in the into the timeline stuff, huh?
How was that a Pokemon Direct?
I'm not confident in what he's trying to do either. So,
how was that a Pokemon Direct? Do you stay awake for it?
Yeah, how was that? Yeah, how was that, man? Let us know. Tell us all about it.
Y'all sound like haters, man.
How's that performance patch for the Scarlet Violet?
Okay, you know what? It wasn't there, all right? Okay? It wasn't there. It effectively was not there, all right? But instead, they showed us some DLC, okay? Now, I may or may not be buying the DLC.
You buying that shit?
Terrell's buying it, no doubt.
No, I'm waiting. You ain't about to get me called.
You already got the money allocated. Don't lie.
I do not. Absolutely not. If it gets bought, that's one thing. But like right now, I have not pre-ordered it. Even though
rewarding these guys for making that broken ass game.
It's all right. It was all right.
It exists.
Yeah.
It exists. That's literally what I could say about it.
So
I would have if you gave me a spin-off like Pokken, I would have been like excited or something.
Yeah, That's what I heard. That's a couple people were saying that.
Like, give me a spinoff. Give me another. Hell, you could have given me an Arceus 2. I would have been down for that shit.
If you would have surprised me with some Arceus DLC, I would have been really surprised.
Like, if you ain't surprised, you could have gave me.
They're saving that for the Switch Pro, guys. That's Switch Pro.
Oh my god. Is that where,
that's funny.
That where Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be?
My Switch Pro unboxing videos is like one of the better videos I've done view-wise in a long time. Like over 1,000 views.
Because you lied to people.
It's so funny because you're like, sorry for my shaky hand. They're like, we love the shake. We love the shake.
I was genuinely excited to have that, and for the first week or so, I was playing in portable. Now it's been on the dock for like a week straight. I played Prime a little bit in portable, but that was it.
Give it some time.
It's docked again.
We talked about Prime last week, right?
Well, you did. I didn't play it, so I gotta give my thoughts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta get your thoughts.
First, I wanted to say, kind of describe the game I was gonna play for Breath of the Wild. Is gonna be that the way people answered was gonna be like the box art game, and I was gonna ask like, I don't want to use one of the questions I was gonna use, but
why are you spoiling the game? You can still do the game later.
I'm just gonna tell you what it's gonna be, and then I'll be like, all right, what is the name of this divine beast, and then describe the divine beast, and then give you guys 10-15 seconds to type it, and then say hit enter. And it was gonna be a Breath of the Wild quiz. Some people be a little less knowledgeable than others, so we need some couple more people that have played Breath of the Wild extensively to kind of make it fun, I think. But anyway, I think we'll try to do that when we get at least Retro and Robert. Maybe get Clocked It one of these days.
That gives me time to study.
Because I've been, not only am I still working my way through my third playthrough, I'm watching Gab. She's had 6 or 7 videos up, watching her streams. And it's just crazy because watching somebody else like go through the shrines and have to figure out some of the puzzles, I had forgotten just how elaborate some of the puzzles are. Other ones pretty straightforward. You just blow up something and get a metal box and drop it on a switch and it takes you up. There's some simple ones, but then there's some really, really clever ones. Mm-hmm. And watching like the Divine Beast, someone figuring that out, I'm like, man, I can't watch. Like, I'm watching this, I can't even, like, I don't even want to hear any talk of like, oh, I need a dungeon. It's like I'm seeing all these great puzzles, all this like really cool stuff going on, and I was like, yeah, it's visually it all looks similar. All the shrines look the same, and the Divine Beasts have the same aesthetic. But man, I just for me, I just don't see the absolute, man, I gotta have dungeons back, like, because that scratched the itch for me. It completely filled the void, the shrines and stuff. So anyway, Tears of the Kingdom is what, like 98 days away or something. Man, maybe not even that many. I thought it was like 100 days not that long ago. I'm looking forward to that. And then, yeah, but before, we got a few months before that. In the meantime, Metroid Prime Remastered, I'm going to make a statement, and I want anybody in the chat, anybody watching this on the replay, Clocked It, I know you're going to be listening to this. He made a video a couple years ago, about sequels and remakes diminishing the original game. Like, in his mind, he almost looked at it as a negative in a way, that, hey, this more improved version of the game is out, and now people feel like the old version is like obsolete now. Like, that's kind of a shame. And I don't feel that for every game, because like Majora's Mask 3D, I don't think anybody's saying, oh, I never want to play the original Majora's Mask again, because there's things about it that are worse in the remake. But for me, Metroid Prime Remastered, I would say wholeheartely, without a doubt, if you have that, there's no reason to ever boot up the GameCube game again. There's no reason. It has everything the GameCube game has, and a whole lot more. Like, you can even hook up a GameCube controller via the adapter and play it exactly like it plays on the GameCube. Like, you don't have to sacrifice anything. It has all the original audio. I mean, it's the same game with just different.
Not the original credits.
Oh yeah, the credits. That's about it.
Went there.
Other than the credits, though, like none of the changes are like anything massive. I don't even know if there is any quality of life other than the dual analog controls and the. I don't think they really messed with anything of the like game design or like everything. I guess the only thing. No, if you're using the GameCube controller, there is nothing like because you can still use.
Doors.
You can do that too, yeah.
You can have the weapon switch identical. So I mean, I still say, like
those terrible blast doors. Oh.
What do you mean?
Oh, you mean the ones that sit and think about it?
Yeah, this door opens too quickly.
Okay, yeah, I want to.
So I just want to know if people agree. Like, is this like, is this a situation where there's literally no reason to ever boot up? There's nothing you would gain by playing the original, if you have the remastered, because it has everything there plus more. I don't know.
Nostalgia.
Does the GameCube logo when you turn on the system? I mean, that's the only.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can get that with other games. You don't need to have that for as the resident retro.
Also, resident GameCube hater though.
I'm not a hater. I make fun. GameCube is one of my favorite consoles of all time. But there were obviously some missteps in some of the first party games. That's my main complaint. But anyway, as one of the resident retro gamers here, purists, if you will, I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think you need to play the GameCube version of Metroid Prime to get a awesome experience. I feel like this could be, I can't believe I'm saying it. This is probably the best way to play the game. I can't believe I'm saying that, but as a retro purist.
But even if you want to play it, I want to play with the GameCube, you can. And you can, and it works, plays just like it.
You can totally just plug in your GameCube controller and play that GameCube experience. Now, obviously, if you want to talk about the nostalgia and hearing the all that stuff, again, there's other games you can get that with.
You can find that on YouTube. Just play the game.
Just put it on your phone.
The game.
I mean, that's not the same, but
hey man.
Oh wait, I don't get to put in the little mini disc. That could be for any game.
All I'm gonna do. Just play YouTube videos, swap sources, and go back to the game. That's what you do. You pull up YouTube on your TV.
Yeah, just have your GameCube sitting there. Have the GameCube disc. Put it in. Don't have the GameCube plugged in. Hit the power button at the same time you hit the power button on your Switch.
It sounds exhausting.
Here's the thing: if you've never played a GameCube before in your life, I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't play that. Obviously, it didn't sell that great. Even if you're a gamer my age and you never played a GameCube before, they do exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were to boot up a GameCube today, you wouldn't get that feeling. So what? Who gives a shit about this little kitty sounding? Like, you don't care about that stuff. We care about it as gamers who were there, but for the average gamer, it's not going to be some life-changing thing for them to go through the GameCube menu and hear the like, nobody care about that shit.
Is the intro identical? I know the music is. Is it visually?
It is. Yeah. Well, it's
remade. Obviously, it's
remade, but it's basically the
same.
You're
not missing anything. No. So here's what I'm saying. Like, if you never played Metroid Prime before, and you're somebody who's been accustomed to Call of Duty or dual analog, you're gonna enjoy this way more than you would with forced GameCube controls, like with GoldenEye.
Yeah.
So it covers anybody who's playing it for the first time, so they can just focus on appreciating the amazing level design, the game design in general. Just like it's so well. There's a few times where you'll get lost and you got the hint thing turned on. After like 20 minutes or so, it might tell you, like, give you a general idea where to go. So it has covered for those people covered. If you're a purist, you're like, man, I love that original audio scan. It's got all this. The sound effects haven't changed. They didn't re-record anything.
Nope.
Audio log recorded, or
maybe a little cleaner or something like that. But
it's not a situation where you're like, oh, and with these clean visuals now, this looks bad. This stands out. This looks bad. No, because all the visuals are reworked or redone.
You know what it reminds me of is kind of like Have you ever gone back? Like, have you ever watched the 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars so many times, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and watch how they were originally done. And then you go back and you watch it, and you're like, why am I watching?
Yeah, like there's
Oh,
purists.
Jesus.
There's purists. That's a good comparison because there are purists that are like, oh, I don't like this the special edition stuff, and there's some stuff in the special edition,
especially
stuff
in
that's
Return of the
annoying.
King.
Yeah. No, I mean Star Wars specifically because George Lucas did some stupid shit in there. Like, why are you changing?
Why did you add
like,
Java in that? That's completely ruins that.
Why did you change the ghost? The ghost Jedi of Darth Vader, or basically Anakin Skywalker.
Completely stupid.
Why'd you take that old actor and make him young Anakin, Hayden Christensen? Why'd you do that?
There's people.
He died as an old guy. Why are you making?
Yeah,
him
watch the reaction channel. Watch somebody react to it who hadn't watched the prequels. They're like, "Who is that?" They're completely confused when they Return of the Jedi.
But I like the scope that's been added. Like, I like the fact that when you go to Cloud City, it's not just barren ass walls.
Yeah, there's some good changes.
You can see outside. You can see the Cloud City, right? Yeah. So I like that kind of stuff. So there's a little nuance when it comes to George Lucas' Star Wars stuff because there are some really dumb things in there. And like,
but I don't want to watch the actual original theatrical cut because there's some really a few things that actually bring it down. But so yeah, just getting back to Metroid Prime, like I'd be curious if somebody could come up with a legit reason after playing Metroid Prime Remastered to say, yeah, I got to go back play the GameCube version for this. Like, other than the GameCube logo, I'd be curious if anybody could come up with something because it's got everything. The music's the same. They didn't re-record it. I'm a little bummed, honestly, that the audio is a little underwhelming. I was kind of hoping it would deliver more, and it's like
wasn't it originally in Dolby?
It's a Dolby Pro Logic 2, I think. Wow. It's got the surround sound, but it's just like Samus's jumps kind of quiet. There's not a lot of surround activity. There's atmospheric stuff like the sounds of the environment. But it's the true experience just with the visuals, and it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it fits or that they change it drastically like an Unreal Engine Zelda, where it just doesn't look like Ocarina of Time one bit. This looks like Metroid Prime. Not even a question. This looks like Metroid Prime. Like, right. It just is. Like, I don't even think twice about it. Like, there's a few areas where I almost wish they went a little further, like in Magmore Caverns, those little snakes, the giant snake guys that pop up. I wish they would have added, maybe changed their design a little bit because they look a little basic, but
not unlike Render 96. Have you seen Render 96, which is the Super Mario 64 remake?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's made with the assets because they basically they reverse engineered the thing because they had that big leak where all the source code and shit got out there, and so it's now there's like a PC version of Mario 64 and it's remastered and it still holds true to the original game, and I'm like, that's how I would rather play it at this point. Like, if not me, but like I think of somebody who never played Mario 64 before, that would be. I would recommend them to play that one and not, go back and find an N64 and play it that way.
Was that the one where they added like ray tracing to the water and stuff, and it looked like it's still the original graphics though?
There's different little.
I mean, cleaner.
Yeah, but it looks and feels like Mario 64. It has all the same sound effects and everything is all there. It's just it's way cleaner. It looks. They call it Render 96 because it looks similar to the renders of Mario 64, the kind of the artwork back then.
Yeah, what they kind of. I don't know if they thought that was going to be possible or that was just. Yeah. But it's staying in the Metroid universe. I mean, like Samus Returns, that's a completely different game than I was playing Metroid 2 on the Switch Online, and that plays that. I was enjoying it. I'm like, but this doesn't feel anything like Samus Returns. Like, those are two completely different games. So I would still say,
play another Metroid remake, another Metroid 2 remake, and that feels like like a proper kind of remake of
like Resident Evil 2 is. I mean, I love the remake, but you gain something by going back playing the original. It's a completely different experience. Like it doesn't replace it. It's to me the way that I like that style better. I'd rather play that version, but
it's almost a reimagining. It's not even.
Yeah. Link's Awakening is one of those where there's so many quality of life improvements.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I didn't play that one, so I can't speak to it.
I would still probably play the Game Boy version.
Yeah, just because
I don't like having to switch out the freaking jump button or the feather and the sword. That's a pain in the butt. That's what they got rid of. But I would say
to me, it's a little different. That games like that.
But still, it looks completely like visually. It's not even in the same realm.
Right.
Like
exactly. That's
whereas Metroid Prime just feels right at home. Everything I'm seeing, especially just looking at the snowy like backgrounds and stuff in the Fendrana drifts, I'm like, man, this looks. I posted yesterday. I was like, if you told me a month ago before the direct, hey, this is a 60 FPS game running on Switch, I wouldn't have believed you. Just plain and simple. I said, no way. It's just.
Like, would you recommend Wind Waker on GameCube, or would you recommend it on
HD?
Wii U?
HD all day.
Right, you would recommend it all day on Wii U. So
that one, I think for me that's a no-brainer. But I bet you there's Retro Death or maybe even Clocked It would argue there's still something to be had.
Why would you want to go back? Why would you want to take those quality of life away?
Retro Death liked hunting for all 8 of the Triforce shards.
I think he just says things to get under our skin.
Jesus.
So I posted these screenshots last night, and I gotta say, I went from handheld to TV, and I didn't see any drop off in quality.
You got a nicer TV.
You gotta get an OLED, man.
Yeah, I got this piece of shit.
So like this.
Honestly, I haven't played it on my monitor. I should have tried it on there.
See, in this area, like in 60 FPS when you're panning the camera, like it's unreal. And it's not Unreal. It's a Retro's engine. It's not Unreal. It's just like there's nothing I would change. Like, or not nothing I'd change, but there's nothing that could get me to play the GameCube version. Even though I kind of felt that about the Wii version, the trilogy, because of the motion controls. But
I was done with the GameCube version when the Metroid Prime trilogy came out. I'm like, not going back.
What other remasters, remakes? Like Shadow of the Colossus for me is definitely the best way to play. That's another one, but it's
the PS4.
The PS4, just because of the frame rates. It plays just like.
Why would you play the PS2?
It has all the quirks, all the weird animation quirks of the original. So what do you guys think is the best remaster? Is Wind Waker HD in that? That's got to be in the conversation
That's got to be in the conversation.
I know, Terrell, you have different tastes, so it doesn't have to be Nintendo. What? Like Sonic Colors in there? Is that?
No, absolutely not. No, hell no.
That game came and went with the whimper.
Because it was a bad remastering of a good game. Pissed me off.
SpongeBob SquarePants Bikini Bottom.
I like it, but I don't know. I like the game feel.
Did it have issues? That's turned me off.
It has its glitches, but my issues, it just doesn't feel the same. Like they tried. I don't act like they didn't do anything. They very much tried to emulate the original feel. But man, when I tell you, but my question is, I guess the issue in that situation is, if you've never played the original, you wouldn't notice that anyway.
That's true.
What about the Pokemon games?
Heart Gold Soul Silver. Absolutely. Heart Gold Soul Silver is the only way you should play Gen 2. Actually, Fire Red and Leaf Green is also the only way you should play Gen 1. You should never play the original games because they're buggy, they're glitchy.
So slow too.
And they're slow as sin. I don't feel that way about the later remakes. Like I don't feel that way about Oros or Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or even Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
What about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
Actually, you probably wouldn't. There's really no reason to play the original. I'm gonna be real with you. There's no real reason. I know Juice fucking with me.
What about
there is no real reason to do that. What's
about value as well? Like, I'm thinking of something like Master Chief Collection. Man, if you never played Halo before, and you want to play Halo, I would not recommend you going back and getting an Xbox.
No.
Master Chief Collection is the way you should play Halo.
Yeah.
Same way with Diablo 2 Remastered.
Diablo 2 Remastered, yeah.
There's not really a real reason for you to go back, especially when they give you that old format, the old style to it anyway. So, yeah, there's no real
something
reason.
like Spyro.
Mass Effect. Would you not recommend
Spyro and like Crash
Trilogy over going back to the 360 or PS3 and playing those games? I would recommend Mass Effect Trilogy over that all day.
I think like the Spyro trilogy, I could still see like there being some value in playing the original. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
No, I would agree. That's one I would agree with.
See, because it still looks good as a PS1 game. I'm still like, dang, that was on PS1. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying like to me, the trilogy. Why would you need to go back? I guess
because my problem with in Crash as well is that they look too clay-ish. Like they don't. I think they lose something.
Almost should look more like Super Lucky Tail.
Visually.
Kind of feels like Spyro should have looked more like that.
So what, like less? So what, like less realistic?
It doesn't have the grit of the originals.
I mean,
it looks too clean.
What? I feel like that's not fair to.
It looks completely.
I think for those games specifically, they look.
Like there's too much gloss on them?
They have like an art style for sure. That's
they lose something with the art style.
I don't feel like that's fair to be like that's the reason why you should play the originals.
I wish you could just hit a button and go back.
But people, I just watched a video not that long ago about the original, and it still plays really well. So it's not like it was. It's not one of those ones where you go back like, oh wow, why did I ever think this was good type of thing.
What about Xenoblade?
I'd say Definitive Edition is definitely just because of the was it the quest tracking and think.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of quality of life improvements in Xenoblade Definitive Edition.
And obviously the visuals aren't like wowing me on Switch, but you know, it's a pretty big jump over the Wii character models for sure. But I don't think you would be absolutely like stupid to go back to play the Wii version.
No, it's not such a crazy jump that, you know.
Same with Metroid Prime. I don't think you'd be stupid to go back to. I'm just saying there's literally. Here's the thing, like the original point I think kind of got away from with all these games, is Metroid Prime Remastered plays identically to the original. Like if you get a GameCube controller,
it's identical.
You're not. It's like for the purest of pure, you're still getting that. I think with like in all these other games, the quality of life changes and stuff do change it enough where you can't play it just like it was meant to, like originally played.
Well, it's like we were telling Robert about Ocarina of Time, or not Ocarina of Time, but Majora's Mask remaster on 3DS. Like, I don't think you should play that version.
No,
you should definitely play the N64 version if you can.
Yeah,
because you know they basically messed some things up. You know, some pretty big things, control wise, and
it's weird how he can, like in the original game. The turning just seems so smooth, but it seems so blocky.
They messed it up in the 3DS one. So yeah, there's instances, there's certain situations where I think it's better to play the original game.
And I think there's a lot of instances where it's like, hey, if you're gonna play this game for the first time, play the remaster. There's so many quality of life, but I think the thing a lot of those are missing is the ability to play it and have it feel exactly like the original. I think Shadow of the Colossus does. You can play with that clunky ass triangle to draw your bow. You have to hold the triangle button and try to fucking aim with the left stick and stuff. You can play it exactly like Shadow of the Colossus on PS2 if you want to, just with a better frame rate. So if for the purist, you have that experience. Nothing's changed. All the animations are the same. Everything's the same other than the frame rate and the visuals. So I think those two, Metroid Prime, both give you that original feel too.
Here's a good comparison, I think, Terrell, because we're talking about playing the original version of Crash and Spyro.
Yeah.
This is kind of similar. For somebody who wants to get into like Donkey Kong platformers, I would still recommend Donkey Kong Country series on Super Nintendo, even though Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze are better looking games technically.
Do you think they're better games in terms of?
There's something I love about the Country series with that pre-rendered background stuff that you don't get when you play a Tropical Freeze or so that's kind of what I'm saying with Spyro and Crash. You lose something visually that you won't get with the remaster, like that totally fits, especially that era.
Right.
I think you don't have to play through the whole game, but I think you should experience it a little bit.
Yeah, because then you get the wow factor. Wow, they pulled this off on the Super NES.
Right.
Like that's the other thing. Like the GameCube was a wow.
Will a younger person get that same vibe? Considering,
I think so. I think a younger person would get the difference between, like I said, Tropical Freeze and the Country series. I think they would still.
It moves different too. They don't.
And they're not. Those are more sequels than remakes.
I was like, I feel like
sequels, but I'm trying to make the point of about the art style.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think because the thing with Spyro, I think is more so. I know Crash isn't 100% 1-to-1 in terms of game feel. I don't know about Spyro because I haven't heard people. I haven't heard enough people.
I don't have Spyro, so I don't really know.
I haven't heard.
Remaster. I have the original.
Yeah, I don't know how close Spyro's remaster is to its like original. Like
Crash is actually pretty close.
It's close, but if you play Crash, you would know the difference. But if you hadn't played Crash, you wouldn't get it.
So yeah, the criteria for like trying to pick like which ones are the best, I would say it feels really good to somebody playing it for the first time, but also feels exactly like you have the option to have it play and feel exactly like the original. I don't think that happens too often. Like Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Like, yeah, that's vastly visuals and the cuts. I thought the cut scenes were kind of a negative at times. I thought they just got really silly, but that's definitely if you're gonna play why do I want to call it Metal Gear Solid, I would say play Twin Snakes if you have a GameCube or if you have access to it. That's definitely the one I would recommend, but at the same time, it's different enough where I think there would be some merit to playing the original.
And there is some merit to what Clocked would bring up. Like we made fun of it, the whole startup thing. Like I do have immense nostalgia for like the PlayStation original PSX startups. I do have nostalgia for that. I would like, if you're a gamer,
to bring that back.
Be able to experience
but that's not really something you could say for a game by game. Like, oh, that's the thing I'm losing. Then just listen to the GameCube logo on your phone and then play.
But again, even that, I mean, just listening to it, that's not the point. Booting up a game and then having that play it out and then you go into
hearing
the game,
this.
That's different than just right. You hearing all that little cackling?
Yeah.
And whatnot?
That's the disc reading.
I love the PS2 startup with the different. What are they like? That represented something actually in the game. I think those little long
when you do the
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that had something to do with the game you were playing. Something. It wasn't just random. It wasn't just a random visual, from what I remember. But yeah, I would like. But that has nothing to do with the game itself. We're talking about like which version of the game you should play if you have a choice. And
right.
I think you don't need to play the GameCube version of Prime if you have the remastered version. I would recommend the remastered version actually.
But I guess my question is, when we make this recommendation, is it for anybody or specifically like
I'm saying, and I think because it covers both people, because Prime Remastered caters to both crowds. Mm-hmm. It's not like I said, it's not like Samus Returns where it feels almost like a different game with the same core idea. It's a different experience. You're gonna feel like you played.
Samus Returns is like a reimagining.
You're gonna feel like you played two different games with similar elements in that regard.
This is a little different because they're not really remasters, but like something like Super Mario 3D All Stars, like you should definitely play the GameCube version of Sunshine. I mean, I guess they patched in the analog stuff.
They did.
But then you had to put
they did.
I mean, I guess at that point.
I mean, is there a reason though?
I wouldn't want you to look at that ugly ass startup package for a 3D All Star. That cheap.
No, but I know I get. But I'm saying, like, is there a reason game wise that you should pick the GameCube one over the All Stars version?
I wonder if you can play All Stars with the GameCube controller.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. They patched in because
I don't think they added or changed anything.
Analog triggers for
they patched in the GameCube triggers.
Yeah, that should have been day one.
Donnie saying you don't get the fusion suit. Yeah, you needed to have quite a setup to get the fusion suit though.
Yeah, that was a lot. You mean you had to have the
Game Boy Advance with fusion. I never even had it. I never did it. I didn't have.
Oh yeah, I forgot it did that. Like you would have to have fusions in order. Okay.
They should have. They should have made that an option then.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
They should have just added the shit in there. I don't know if they did or not, but because it is in the game. You just have to basically you're unlocking it with a code from the Game Boy Advance game. So
right.
So it should be in the game.
Oh, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna drop fusions on.
Hey,
they could. They literally could. No, we already know it's on the list. It's already on the list. I think.
Yeah,
but you know what that means, though. You know what that means, though.
It could be in there.
It's behind a paywall.
That is true. That means it's behind a paywall.
That is true. Actually.
Nintendo was not afraid of that. Skyward Sword amiibo.
Did everybody have a different code or something? How couldn't you just type in one code for everybody or not? Is that how it worked? I thought it was a link keyboard or something that did.
Yeah, it's called it's Justin Bailey. That's the code. Little deep cut for you there, little deep cut.
But
how dare you?
Forever, we all thought some kid named Justin Bailey just put his name in and figured out that it worked for a code, not realizing it was just in Bailey, and Bailey means a bathing suit. I had no idea, and that's why you get Samus in her bathing suit if you put in that code for the game. Spoilers for Metroid game.
You ruined it.
What suit or what game was she in her quote unquote bathing suit? Fusion?
The first one. No, the first one.
Oh, Metroid. The original? Okay, I get what you're saying.
The original, yeah. She's
which was just some pixels. You couldn't even tell. Like
right. She had like green hair.
Oh wait. If you 100% Prime, here, you heard it here first. If you 100% Prime like me, she'll be in her bathing suit.
She'll be in her bathing suit, Justin Bailey.
What counts as 100%? Getting all the missiles.
Yep, you gotta scan everything.
Because I didn't scan the one of the morph ball bombs before I grabbed. But it doesn't. You scan it, just instantly says it. It's not like it doesn't give you. You can't find it.
I don't think it's literally everything.
It's got to be everything in the logbooks and stuff, right?
Yeah, you got to scan all the stuff that has the red. You know, when you scan
it has the question marks and stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
Because I scanned the super missiles, and I was like, fuck, I had my wave beam on. I'm like, why can't I shoot the super missile? And I went into the options looking for the information, and it didn't. It just lists missiles. It doesn't list the super missile by itself. I'm like, I scanned it. Why isn't it in here? So I'm guessing it's just all the question marks filled in on the when you hit minus.
I cheated. I bought the guide book.
The strategy guide
back in the day. Yeah, I wouldn't ashamed because I wanted to get every ounce. You know, I don't know who these people are that can 100% everything without knowing.
Because that game doesn't tell you where you're missing stuff.
They don't tell you shit.
A modern game's going to tell you, hey, this room's red. You got to find, there's something in here still.
You don't need a guidebook anymore these days. But back then, boys.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I got to go through every room now to try to find one thing I'm missing. But speaking of, Robert, I didn't reply to him, but I was like, hey, I'm a little ashamed. I got the wave beam, and I'm freaking spent 25 minutes. I can't figure out where to go. And I went in every room. like literally in every there's not that many areas. You have a little bit of the Magmore, you have a little bit of
Is there a hint in this?
Yeah, I had it off.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's a room where with the purple door I go in there and I can't get up. Well, there's a boost ball thing, and I did that. I was like, oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't see there was another one on the opposite side that you have to do both, and then you get a little timed run. You got to do bomb and this, and then you get the water level rises, and you got to jump across, do the other one, and I figured it out. But he's like, just look it up. What's the big deal? Like, he was like, I'm like, dude, I didn't even reply. This is my 4th time in this spot. I should remember what to do. B,
it's pride, man.
What's the point of looking the shit up? Like, what's the point of playing the game then? Like, this isn't like.
I never looked up that kind of stuff. I looked up,
if it was like, I'm missing 2 missile expansions, okay, that's.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit.
Well, but the question is, what is the criteria of what you're comfortable looking up and what you're not?
If it's like figuring out where to go in a game, that's the whole point. Is you get a new weapon, now you have to figure out where to go. Then it's like.
But if you don't know,
you figure it out.
I figured it out.
But what? But people, you say that, but there are plenty of people who have literally quit games because they've gotten stuck.
Okay.
It has a hint system. You can turn on the hint system.
Yeah, but you didn't even use the hint system.
I did. Eventually, I was already heading there. I was like, I'm gonna go back to that room, and as soon as I opened the door, I got the little robot voice.
Oh, so you did do the hint.
Okay. And I was like, that's where I was heading, but it doesn't tell you go to that room. It just shows a spot where you need to be off the map, and you have no idea how to get there, and you just say, well, if I go to this room, I think that's probably the best bet. So it's not like it tells you what to do. And as soon as the other thing I was doing that as I was watching your stream. You started I don't know why you stream so damn late. You started your stream at 10, and that's when I was looking for that. And so I was paying attention to your stream on my phone, and I was tired, and I'm like, I'll just figure it out tomorrow. And so that
it's a personal thing, because it's like, some people can look it up and not feel bad about it later. If I do, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm like, man,
because it's like that's part of it's part of the puzzle of the game. That's part of the purpose of the game is you get a new ability, and now you have to either use your memory. Oh, where were all the spider ball tracks? Now I'm gonna find the spider ball tracks. I just got the spider ball. I know there's like 10 spots immediately that have just opened up for like at least a power up, and it's like if I just look up, okay, I got the spider ball. Where are all the rooms with the spider ball? That defeats the purpose of the game. Like you're just at that point, you're just going through the motions.
I'm not above taking notes and shit. Like that's what I used to do back in the day, take notes. But now you got with this beautiful screenshot ability now, and you got cell phones. Like it's a lot easier to just be like, boop, boop. Oh yeah, I got to come back to this.
And just there was a time back in the day where on the back.
Oh, the manuals with the
notes? It's not on here. On here.
Gave you a helpline.
You could call it helpline. You could call it a helpline, and a pro would tell you help you beat that area.
Well, let me tell you, Terrell. Let me answer your question.
I'm gonna put this in context. I'm a person who very much still follows that old school mentality. So it's not like I disagree with the thought process. I'm just telling you what I've been told by a lot of younger people now, where it's like,
well, Robert don't give a shit. Like he'll
because Robert's concern is just beating the game. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's under that line.
Well,
he doesn't care. He doesn't care about what you think about the fact that he did it.
Right. It's an era thing where it's like,
there's a level of pride that you had when you.
It's not really pride. It's like it'd be like knowing the solution. Whatsoever. It's like what I said about the Goose Game. Once you know the solution, then all you're doing is fucking just going through the motions. The whole point of the Goose Game is figuring out how to accomplish the thing on the list. Once you know that, because I watched Just stream the first hour. Once I knew all the solutions, I'm just fucking going through the motions. The whole point of the game is figuring out how to do it.
Right. It's like playing a puzzle game and looking up all the answers.
So if you know, why
would you do that? That ruins.
But I will say an example where Terrell's playing Elden Ring. Elden Ring has so many fucking layers. So much depth to the mechanics. Like Terrell, I don't even know if you know what the Great Runes are yet, and how to restore them. Do you even know what that is?
No.
Okay. Like You're 30 hours in. There's so many things in that game you could miss.
No. There are games I dictate as guide games. And the Souls games are very much games I view as guide games. Games that no one in the world should be like, why are you looking it up on a guide? Because the game has a bunch of conflicting and fucking encrypted shit in it, and you're not gonna get it.
Because there's side quests you could ruin by doing something out of turn, and now you just killed that quest, which happened to me.
I was doing the one with the daughter who can't see well. You get to the area and you talk to her, and she's like, "Give this letter to my father."
Yeah, Castle Morn.
I looked it up. You can fuck that mission up. There's like 3 ways you can fuck it up. You can either go fight the boss of that area before you talk to him, which skips some dialogue and he just jumps to the end of the side quest. Or if you talk to him or accidentally kill him, it fucks up the side quest. Because for some reason this game, like the other Souls games, lets you kill NPCs for no good fucking reason. And I looked it online, I'm like, and people were like, bro, I didn't even do it that way. There's like 3 or 4 ways to do a side quest, but there's like 2 or 3 ways you can fuck it up.
And
too.
you could completely miss the girl who can tune your spirits and level up your spirits, your summoning spirits.
You guys said it was later, but I got it. I already have access to it. I already have access to it. From when I looked it up,
as soon as you beat Godric, you can. That's when it's available as soon as you do that.
When you say that, when you're saying that though, are you saying like something's gonna tell you that you can do it, or
no?
What?
You just have to talk to her before she mentions the people, her family, or whatever, limbs getting taken or whatever, and then you beat them, and then she shows up in the round table, and you just have to talk to her. Then you talk to the smith, you talk to her, talk to Smith, talk to her, and then you'd have to know. I just happen to freaking do that. Like I don't even know. Maybe Clocked might have told me, hey, you got.
Well, some people told me it just auto unlocks anyway throughout the game.
Well, at some points, characters will just die. You'll find the remains, and you'll get access to all the items they were going to sell you.
But you don't know that until it happens.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's an example where it's
like even because you were talking about Juice, you were talking about you got fulfilled in Cyberpunk. Because you finally got to slay Judy, and I'm thinking like, yeah, that stuff happens in like in The Witcher specifically. If you want to slay all the slayable creatures, you gotta know.
You gotta know how to talk, like respond.
Right, you gotta know certain things, timing, and all that kind of stuff. You're not gonna figure that out just running around the game. So stuff like that, I'm like, I'm cool looking that up. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to 100% the women in The Witcher.
But, I mean, to be fair, that's like the appeal of like a dating.
And I got lucky. Like, I just answered.
Dating Sim's whole premise is literally, how do I make this woman fall in love with me in the context of this?
You want to hear what's something funny though with the Judy character? I just answered how I would have answered.
Wait, are you a girl?
Yeah. I just answered
that's the only way you can get with Judy.
I answered how I wanted to answer as a man trying to get with a girl. And I picked all the right choices.
So for those who don't know, Juice is trans. His pronouns are she and they.
I always play as a female character.
I would have just started it over. Oh no, and went back and redid it again.
Yeah.
So but you can just go on YouTube, watch the little 30-second clip, the reward. But for Elden Ring, here's where I'd say, all right, why even playing the game? If you're like, all right, I'm streaming this. All right, where do I go? All right, go to the Stormville Castle. All right, beat Margaret. All right, go here. All right, now go play Godric. And then go to the Lakes of Lunaria, go to the school, and you're just going by what somebody's telling you is the next one. You're not exploring.
To be fair,
you're not having any discovery of your own. That, to me, right there, don't even play the game.
I want to put this in context. You are a huge stickler about that anyway. You do that. You do with Robert with Breath of the Wild.
I was gonna say
when you realize that man kind of just spent.
I try not to bring that up anymore.
Well, the shrine.
Yeah, but it was very obvious that shit bothered you. This is the
finding all the shrines in Breath of the Wild,
but see, the thing about an open world game is you were allowed to just bypass a bunch of shit if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but
now,
to me, it's like,
should you? No, but that's the beauty of an open world game, that you can.
But there is something cool about not knowing or having almost a completely different experience in the same game that somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That,
with like
that was the cool thing about Breath of the Wild. We're like, oh, you did this, I did this, and did that.
Yeah, how many months did we spend?
There's a bear. Where are the bears?
I could ride a bear. Like we all had different stories for months.
I could ride an antelope. What? How do you do that? So that is a cool thing as well.
But what I was talking about, Terrell, is like you have this big open world game with all this discovery and all this, and then you're just like, instead of figuring out just randomly or happen to come across a grace site or talk to an NPC, you're just like, you're following a checklist. All right, go to Stormville, beat him. All right, go to the lakes, go to the I forget what it's not like a university. It's like I forget what it's like a school or something. And you already know where to go. You go there. Obviously, you have to fight all the enemies and beat the boss. And then of course, I mean, at certain points, I don't have a problem either. If I'm stuck on a boss for like an hour, I just can't beat the boss, and it's like, all right, there's got to be a tactic, something I'm not doing right, and I'll watch 2 seconds. I'll see somebody do something like, oh shit, that's probably it. I'll close the video. Let me try it, and I'm like, man, yeah, that seems so simple, and then I'm like, man, I didn't feel very good. Well, I wish I would have figured that out myself.
Something is just broken and wrong. Like I was playing Watch Dogs Legion, and there's a mission. It's basically, it's basically an Assassin's Creed mission that's hidden in the game. I don't know if hidden's the right word, but it's in there. You got to kind of dig. There's so many different freaking missions you can play in this game. But anyway, you basically go on this kind of assassin's tomb or whatever, and there's this. It's a really light puzzle where there's this symbol at the bottom of a statue or whatever, and there's an assassin doing a pose, right? And you got to match up those symbols on the big statue in the middle of the tomb or whatever. And I'm like, this is super simple. And I went there and I did them all, and I'm like, why isn't this shit opening? I did it right. And so I was just like, I can't take it anymore. I was on this thing for like 30 minutes for a puzzle that's like literally a 5-minute puzzle. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. I looked it up and I'm like, that's not the correct pose. That is literally broken. and I turned it and it worked. And I'm like, well, that's not my fault. I think they screwed up in the design of the game. That should not. I'm looking at the pose. That's not the right pose. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, so what do you do in that situation? Obviously, you look it up, and I didn't feel less fulfilled because it was like it was a really
when I puzzle. If I look something up and I'm like, oh, that was stupid, I would have never figured it out. There's an Elden Ring. Yeah. There's multiple spots where you have to just somehow, by this vague hint, have the right headpiece on, and do a snap your finger or a point, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, there's a slight hint, and maybe if I'd known to go through all the poses you can do, but I didn't feel bad at all about looking that up because I'm like, that I was never gonna figure that out. But it's just one of those things. You go, oh, you're just judging. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I know Robert listens to these, so you'll have to tell me. My memory tells me he had like 60 shrines, and then he just looked at an online map. All right, here's the shrine. Next shrine closest to me, I'll go there. All right, there's the next, and just looked up every single shrine. Didn't even try to find them organically. And obviously he had to walk there and do the shrine. I'm not saying like he didn't accomplish anything, but at the same time, it's like, to me, that's kind of
you're cheapening the experience.
Yeah,
at that point.
I think you're missing out.
Finding the shrine is half of the experience. Finding the shrine. Now, if you're like, you're 70 or whatever shrines in, and you're like, I don't really care to look up all of them, or I don't really care to find them all, and you're just like, I just want to do it for a completion thing. Okay, but if you do it before even trying to look or find the shrine, to me, you're cheapening what the developers wanted you to do. That discovery, that is a huge part of Breath of the Wild.
And I don't know, maybe he got sidetracked because he actually would still go there. I don't think he like fast traveled. Like he still would walk to. All right, it's not too far. I'll head in this direction.
He didn't even ride a horse. He would just run.
Yeah. So he might have still got the benefits of discovery and stuff. So I'm not like saying it's like complete travesty or anything, but for me, like
it's not a travesty in any case.
I just think like that's kind of the design of the game, but it's also designed for you can play it of many different ways. Terrell, I don't think Terrell, you didn't get past like 70 shrines if I remember correctly, but you didn't. I don't think you felt super compelled to, and that's fine.
We made fun of him for running in the cold and just eating all the way.
Eating peppers.
But you can do that.
You can do it.
That's a thing you can do.
It's funny in the way that it's funny when somebody doesn't know something obvious in the real world. Like it's not like, oh my God, what an idiot, you played it wrong. No,
or it's funny that I would have never thought to do that. Just to eat a bunch of apples, freezing your ass off all the way to the shrine. I would have never thought to do it.
I would binge 4 or 5 apples if I just needed a few more. Like if I was like 2 hearts shy of like full, I'd just eat 8 apples or whatever. I think it's a quarter, or maybe it's a half. I can't remember.
Oh no, I meant like if you're literally getting harmed from the elements. Like
I think he was eating the peppers though. I think he was eating the peppers to like give him a little heat resistance just straight. But also, he might have been just eating apples to keep his health. Every time it would lower, he'd just eat.
Yeah, because you have both options.
And I'm like, that to me, that's just something that's funny. It's like somebody did something. Yeah. That's not like, oh my God, how could you play it so like that?
You're ruining the game.
I will say though, like not cooking, you know, that you're definitely making a challenge
for him not cooking again
for yourself. And I just learned recently, you can just cook a hardy radish, anything hardy truffle. You just cook it by itself, full hearts plus 5.
Yep.
You don't have to put any meat, no nothing. All these combinations I was trying, just cook a radish, a hardy whatever. You have the big hardy radish, the regular hardy radish, the hardy truffles.
But it was fun trying all those combinations.
And it's just like boom, full health plus 5 extra hearts. It's like, damn, I wish I would have known that. But
anytime you use the hardy, it's funny because it looks like a heart.
But I would say the extreme would be, all right, I'm gonna look up every shrine, and as soon as I get in there, I'm gonna look up what to do. Then at that point, why even play the game? Like, I'm sorry, like that to me would be like, you just no reason to even play the game at that point. Just watch somebody else play.
Some people just like some people like the idea of just following instructions and then getting the result. Like that's just what it is.
What's the result though?
The result is you beating the game. They still beat the game.
It's not to beat the game. I'm talking about just like the shrines. Like looking up the solution of the shrine defeats the purpose of the shrine.
Just you following directions. Some people just like the idea of just...
That's cool if you're building a Labo kit.
Yeah, that's cool if you're putting Legos together.
No. Listen, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying like some people just like. Some people don't like the idea of thinking about it and rather just like follow the instructions and do it.
At that point, I would say with my pretentious ass, you're playing the game wrong.
I'd say just watch somebody play it at that point. Like if that's
just
watch a let's play. That's what I would say.
I agree, but what I'm saying the argument would be is that why can't they do that?
Of course
they can, but it's like it's kind of I would say it literally defeats the purpose of the game. Of the shrine. The whole point is to figure it out, and people come up with different solutions. They have so many, not like every shrine has 100 different ways to solve it, but I was watching Gab play and I was like, really, that worked? Like, I can't believe she tried that. Yeah. And it's like, I definitely didn't do that. And but we both came to the same. See, that's what you're missing. And it's like, but at the same time, if somebody does that and they feel happy with it, fine. But it's not gonna stop me from judging. I'm gonna judge your ass for that.
Well, I mean, like Juice. Jesus I give him shit all the time about his experience on the N64, right? Like I'm like, wow, you didn't play this, you didn't play that, and that, and I always say, oh, you didn't use your N64 correctly.
But I did play a lot. I mean, I played a lot. I just didn't own a lot of games. Me and my buddies would rent games all the time, but I didn't really own that many. But there's still games I didn't play. Like I didn't play Jet Force. You
didn't play Jet Force. See, that blows my fucking.
But I beat Blast Corps. I got to the bonus, the Pac-Man stages. So.
Good old Blast Corps.
But anyway, I know Robert's probably typing all this whole conversation. I get it.
He's live typing.
That worked for you. But I'm just telling you, for me, like if I'm gonna if I'm gonna judge somebody, which everybody judges people, whether it's not good. But at the same time, if somebody was to just look up the location of every Korok seed and just go there and do it, then it's like I have zero respect for that. Like, what's the point?
If it's the last 10.
Yeah, I would say if you scoured Hyrule 5 times top to bottom and you're at 989, okay, I have no problem at that point. But if you're just like, I'm gonna look up, I'm in the Great Plateau, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna have a map open on my computer, and I'm just gonna go to every spot and get every Korok seed, then it's like you didn't accomplish anything other than you wasted time.
I mean, I looked up a couple of shrines. Some of them bitches are tough, man.
So, I had to.
I've actually actively refused to look up shrines, and some of them are driving me nuts.
The only time I even thought to look was after I was at like 115, and my sensor would just never go off again. I never heard it for like hours and hours, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to look up the names of all the shrines, and if I don't recognize the name, I want to at least know what shrine I'm missing and what region it's in. Because I'd look up the Akala region, and I'd go by the names, and I'd go by all the shrines on the map. All right, I'm missing that, so I know in the Akala region there's a shrine I'm missing. That's the extent I went to, and that was only for like the last few.
Well, the problem is some of the shrines you have to trigger first before they would even.
Because the ones
show up.
The Shrine Quest ones don't set off the sensor.
Right.
And one of the last one I found, this is, like I said, this is kind of I'm acting high and mighty, but one of my biggest or most memorable moments was when I found that last shrine. I can tell you exactly where it is if I bring up the map. And it was just like I never felt the need to go over there, and as soon as I looked at my map and I was like, man, there's not any shrines in that vicinity. I'm just gonna head that way. It's by the where the golf Stasis Golf is in the canyon. If you go up the canyon, here I got the map. Oh, this has all the fucking Koroks on it. Can I take those off? Oops.
I will say I have a modern example of something where I
go ahead.
I could
I'm trying to get this.
So it actually regards to Pokemon, and Sinister, you may know about this. You know that Pokemon, obviously you got your main legendaries, your box legendaries, and then you got legendaries that are in the game, but like they don't really tell you about other than rumors.
Right.
In Scarlet Violet, it has like 3 of them. They're behind these fucking gates, but you have to unhook these swords from the ground.
And they tell you nothing about where you can find them.
No, and so I was debating with myself, do I go online and look up where the fuck these stakes are? Because the game doesn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna wander. If I find it, I find it. I don't. But it's insanely tempting because I was like,
they don't even give you hints.
No, they don't. When you go over there, when you're in the world, I think the first time you find a stake, you're like, what the fuck is that? And you go pull it and you're like, what the hell did that do? And then I found the door and I was like, oh shit, that's what the stakes are for.
Yep.
And so now I'm like, fuck, where's the other
What game are you talking about?
This Pokemon.
Scarlet and Violet. Yeah.
There are legendaries that are locked behind these doors before you can fight them. But the game doesn't tell you anything about them because they're technically side content.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use a guide to go look up the map to see where the stakes are in the world. They're just in random places in the world, by the way. It's not like you're told, oh, one's in the Akala region or whatever the fuck. It's like you have to just go. And on top of that, you also have to find the door it connects to. So I've run into myself like finding 6 damn things and realizing, shit, I don't have all 4 for one door. I have like 2 for each door, and I'm like, fuck, I could go look this up. But see, that's something I don't want to do. I want to find that shit naturally.
And like I was saying, I got it on screen.
No, go for
it. One of the most memorable moments. So I was scouring the map, and I noticed at the end of this canyon, I don't think my mouse, I'll do it over here. I was like, man, there's no shrine in that vicinity. Let me head that way. So here's the golf mini game with the Goron, and there's a memory up here. So I was like, I was coming up, and I climbed out of here, and I want to say it was like right around this area. All of a sudden, I heard the bloop bloop bloop. I was like, and I just instantly hit the record button on the Switch. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I still have that. Actually, it might be on my computer. And then I go start heading in until it got louder, and right here, whoops, there's a hole in the ground. And I forget if you have to blow it up or not, and then you drop down and there's a freaking shrine under the ground. And I remember that moment. I was so overjoyed that I finally found the last shrine. And it was just such a cool moment. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's 100 cool moments that anybody could have played, even if you looked up the shrine location. I'm not saying you didn't have cool moments, but for me, like, to deprive, I guess, yourself of that like sense of accomplishment, where I feel like, I don't know if it's not just a young person thing, but I know the instant gratification is appealing and stuff, and it's hard to be patient sometimes. But
well, again, on another level, what that matters to somebody else playing a video game. Like, it's like spoilers and trailers and shit, right? Some people do not care about seeing stuff, like, but some of us will cut shit off after a certain amount of information is being put out there. It's like, all right, I've had enough, that's it. So it's similar in that way, where it's like, my enjoyment, or how I get to my enjoyment playing this video game, is different from how you get to your enjoyment playing a video game.
Right.
Damn, I don't have the it's not in my videos on my Switch backup, and I don't know if it's even on my SD card. But that moment that
we're not gatekeeping, I'm not anyway. Basically what I'm saying is, I just don't understand why you would play a game that way. That's just my personal thing. Is like, how can you enjoy it? You're missing out so much. But that's not me being a gatekeeper saying you should not play that game that way. That is
well,
wrong.
I am when I said the part about looking up every shrine and looking up the solution. At that point, I'm just like, don't even tell me you played the game. To me, that, and it's not like shrines are the main thing of the game, but that's just an example for Breath of the Wild. Like, an equivalent for a different game, I still would be like, I don't even want to talk to you then, because in my mind, you kind of missed half the experience, if not more. It's like, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with somebody who, let's say like Hollow Knight. That's one of those games you're gonna, and Ori, there's gonna be stretches where, like, I'm not sure where to go next. Like, I'm kind of lost. I don't know what to do. I can understand after a couple hours of frustration, you might look for some guidance. But if, like, you played Hollow Knight from start to finish with somebody telling you, or a guide, or a let's play right, on the other screen, that at that point, it's like, what are you even playing for? Because those games are all about figuring out where to go, getting a new ability, remembering where there was a ledge you couldn't get. Now you have a double jump. Now you can get to that ledge. Like, that's the core design of the game. And to rob yourself of that, to me, is just, it's like, it's fine for you, but for me, I wouldn't want to, like, discuss Hollow Knight with you if you had played that way and just looked everything up.
Take my toys and leave.
So I'm just like, that's kind of what I said about a reviewer who played Horizon Forbidden West and beat it in 28 hours. It's like, yeah, you have some, obviously you did all the main story stuff, but you obviously didn't love the game or really enjoy the game to want to explore and do side quests and stuff. So it's like, are we really going to have a great conversation about our experiences playing the game? So I'd rather just avoid talking to the IGN reviewer who put 28 hours and beat the game and, called it a day.
28 hours in Horizon Forbidden West?
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I did some side content. I'm like, shit, 28 hours, I had half the map unlocked. Now, obviously, I played the game differently, like Retro Death. He'd still be in the opening area looking at every...
I'm just exploring and looking at fruit.
I like fruit, man. The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. It's like, I understand it's, I don't think condescending is the word, but like, a high and mighty kind of way to look at things.
Still slightly.
Everybody plays the game different, but I'm just trying to explain, like, I wouldn't want to sit down and have a conversation about a game with somebody if they just looked everything up and missed, what I would consider most of the point of playing the game. It's like Elden Ring, you could tell somebody where to go. They still got to beat the damn boss, like that still takes some skill. So there's nuance to it. So that's all I got. I think we're past 9 o'clock, so we can get out of here.
Yeah, we are.
9:11.
No shit.
No, oh God.
Let's see. I had to check the chat because I had my screen. I was looking for that file. Let's see if they have Koroks in Tears of the Kingdom. I might use a guide to try to find them all. I mean, honestly, the Koroks to me are completely different than shrines. Like, if you want to do that, do it. Whatever.
Because that's for like having spots for your weapons and shit.
Yeah, that's just like I find it
rewarding. At a certain point where you don't need.
And they gave the Korok mask. They added the Korok mask. I believe that was DLC, because they realized it was like ridiculous trying to find them. Korok seeds are different than like. It's not like you have to solve. Well, there's some reward to like stumbling across a stump and there's a chain, and you're like, what's that all about? And then you get your magnesis out and there's a ball in the water and you put it in the stump and you get it. Like, there's some reward to definitely to that, but once you do, there's not a lot of variety in the Korok seeds. You run into that a lot, where you have to roll the ball down the hill and it lands in the hole, or throw a rock through a little circle of rocks in the water. There's a lot of repeat ones, but then you get the one where you have to get a rock up onto like like a deck of a house down by the beach. And I seen people, I think I attacked octo balloons, and then I used a Korok leaf to blow the balloons, to blow the rock, and then stasis it because it would stop too short, and then I hit it with arrows just enough to send it flying to land. And then I was like, oh, it's brilliant. What somebody else do? They chopped down a damn tree and it landed at an angle. They grabbed the rock and they freaking walked up the tree right up to it and set it down and got it within seconds. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, but like, I would feel
both options are viable.
I would feel bummed though if I had just seen the solution to that and like didn't experiment for myself, and missed out on that moment of figuring it out. Like, it's almost, it sounds like I'm preaching, but at the same time, it's also trying to give like advice. Like, this is what can happen if you don't like look up the solution to that. Like, the reward you get out of it, like that to me is worth more than just getting past it. But there are other games where I'm like, I'm so frustrated, I don't give a shit. I just want to get past this. It's usually games I'm not like super into that I feel that about. Like Cyberpunk, I will give it some. This might be considered a positive. I didn't have to look anything up. Like, it tells you exactly where you need to go. Like, there's never a need to. I don't think there's ever a need to look anything up. Like where to go, what to do. I would say there is a lot of mechanics I didn't like. You weren't here, Sandstorm. I didn't hack anything. I never did melee. I did melee one time. Never did it again. And I'm like, so I feel like maybe there's more layers, but at the same time, the time I did it, I just spammed the button and beat there wasn't any strategy to it. And so I'm just like, there's a bunch of stuff I didn't experience. And I probably, if I watch a video and it's like, hey, some things that you would have been good to know before I started Cyberpunk, and there's like this really cool thing I didn't know, then I'd be like, oh man, I wish I would have knew that before I played the game, because the game's not very. It doesn't guide you towards anything. Like Nintendo's very good at this. They find good ways to make you have to learn something. Sometimes it's just, hey, this is your tutorial. Other times it's like, oh, I just got this item and there's this very obvious looking thing here. can I use the item I just got to destroy that or to do something with that? And like Nintendo's very good at that. With Cyberpunk, I feel like they kind of left it up for you to figure out, but at the same time, I don't think any of it is needed. Like the melee, what's the point of the melee?
It's very surface. It's like very surface level stuff.
It's superficial stuff. It's just like it's just visually a different way to do combat, but it's not like it's like Uncharted 4, where at the end the last boss is like this quick time boxing match when you didn't do anything like that in the beginning of the game.
So that's not, now that you say that, that's not completely true. If you want 100% the game and like get the secret ending, you're gonna have to do some sort of melee. But it's not to the point where like you get to that point and you're like, oh man, like I should have been doing this from the beginning. Now I like literally have to start all over. All you have to do is reset your points to set it up so that you're a lot better.
But at the same time, there didn't seem to be much like benefit to opting that. No, in itself there's not. But other than like making the combat feel a little different, doesn't feel like Call of Duty because you're swinging a sword, but at the same time there's not enough depth to it. I didn't feel to make it. Man, we're T and Terrell. They're like, fuck it, we're leaving before this podcast. But anyway, we'll wrap this up.
No, my bad. I was doing something.
That's fine. We're past. We can talk after we end the stream. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Let me know what you think. In the comment, I know we don't get a ton of comments, but I'm curious what Robert's going to think of that discussion. Let us know, man. I'm sure you won't hold back. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time.